Tim and I had begun a friendship in 2002, and I took the fast train into New York City just to have a casual lunch with Tim, and we were asking ourselves about the desirability of constructing some sort of organization or organ that would serve as a rallying point for confessional Christians in the Reformed heritage. The Gospel Coalition is a group of mostly pastors who are deeply committed to the gospel as presented in the Bible.
If the Gospel Coalition is successful, I think you're going to see a greater relationship between national American evangelical Christians and the international. Secondly, the newer generation of younger evangelical leaders that needs to be mentored and needs to be empowered is going to be a multi-ethnic group of folks. And so the Gospel Coalition is not just looking to preserve the past, but it's really looking to take the gospel into the future.
I first heard about TGC probably actually when it started. Several of my friends were getting involved with this organization, and frankly when I first heard about it I was really excited for it because I think it represented for me a lot of things that I really care about. Gospel centrality, the importance of Reformed theology, its missional heart, but I think for me most importantly of all that, a desire for like-minded Christians to work together for a common purpose, a common kingdom purpose. In God's providence, the Lord brought together these amazing leaders, pastors and scholars to work together for the sake of the gospel. And I've been so encouraged to see how it's grown. And now to be a part of it, when I joined the council about 5 years ago, just to be a part of this amazing organization and what it's trying to do, I've just been honored and thrilled to be a part of this organization.
Julius, I think, is uniquely gifted for this new role. Anybody that knows Julius knows he's enthusiastic, he's outgoing, he's optimistic, and he's a visionary.
You need a leader, someone a team wants to follow. That's Julius. You also need somebody who follows in the trail of Don Carson and Tim Keller as a pastor scholar. And that's exactly what Julius Kim is. He trains pastors to preach Christ. He not only preaches Christ himself, and I've been with him all around the world watching him do that so beautifully.
As a teacher of preacher, Julius has been for the last 20 years. And as he continues to labor in preparing men and women for Christ's service, I believe that this is an incredible convergence of timing. His gifts as a teacher, his gifts as a preacher, and his love for the church.
I think it matters that he's a Korean American. He's a second generation Korean American. And to have somebody like Julius who understands what it means to live in two different worlds and to speak two different languages, I think that is who he is, and it is going to create an incredible opportunity immediately. So it makes the organization, it makes the information, it makes conferences much more accessible, and for people to feel like this is for me.
It's very exciting, and I'm very excited for him because I do think that all the ways in which God has been preparing him, shaping him, training him, teaching him along the way has brought him to be able to be used in such a way, hopefully, that will further God's kingdom and the gospel.
It's everything that he knows and loves coming together.
When I first heard about it, at first I was like, you're gonna be the president of a website? But then he explained to us more, and when he finished talking and we were all sitting down as a family, my first thought was, go for it.
I just know that a lot of people have been impacted by like the different things that have been going on, like the speakers, the workshops, the books, everything that comes out of the TGC. People have been really blessed by it.
I'm really excited to see where the Lord takes him in this endeavor, and I think we're gonna have a really fun time.
And at this point in my life, as I've reflected upon this, now as a Christian, thinking about my identity, not just as a Korean American, but as a Korean American Christian, I thought about the priority of my Christian identity and how important that is. Because of the work of Christ, this is not our home. Christ has granted us entrance into his heavenly home. But in the meantime, as sojourners, as pilgrims, as those on this journey, Christ gives us his Spirit, his grace, his wisdom, his word to help others who are on the way, to not lose sight, to not lose hope, to not be discouraged when they encounter the suffering, the persecution, the trials, the tribulations of a pilgrim existence, of not feeling at home. What advice would you give me as I take this mantle? What do I need to know?
I think that there are certain values that a new president of the coalition needs to maintain. You need to remember that this is the gospel coalition. That's meant to be more than a label. We're driven by a deep, faithful, biblically structured understanding of what the gospel is. When Paul says that he wants to remind the Corinthians in 1 Corinthians 15 of the matters of first importance, what he mentions first is the gospel. So this is the gospel coalition. That's the first thing. Second, you are dealing with a council and with a board of some surprisingly gifted people. Work with them. Learn from them. You don't know enough. Neither do I, nor does any other single person there. The strength is in the group together.
It's wonderful. I think it's great. Basically, we're just saying, remember the gospel. That's the foundation, but also remember we're a coalition. That it's not a gospel individual, it's not a gospel institution, but it's a gospel coalition of like-minded, gifted men who want to work together, and that together somehow we can do something well.